Thank you. I appreciate that. Welcome to the Omziel Healing Sanctuary. We're giving you bite-sized information for you to take in your daily life and use. I'm here with a very, very good friend, someone who's helped me throughout the years and done tremendous things at Omziel behind the scenes. And I'm finally having a chance to sit with him and find out what's going on with his life now and how he can help all of us. So, brother, please go right ahead.
Yeah, so pleased to be here. Thank you for inviting me into your TV show. Next best thing next to Sábado Gigante. My name is Joaquin Melara, and I'm based out of Union City, New Jersey. Um, Presently, I'm working on a podcast I recently launched about a month ago, and I'm interviewing experts in and around the field of artificial intelligence technologies.
Mm,
So that's a very it's a massive it's a massive field. It's pretty obscure, and there's just a nebula of concepts that
mhm,
you kind of need to understand. There's quite a bit of knowledge to go through there,
mhm,
and I think with my own personality and my own strengths, I can bring some level of clarity to that space.
mhm,
So the podcast is serves to disseminate that knowledge.
mm,
But alongside doing that podcast,
mhm,
I'm also building a community of practice.
mm. A community of practice?
A community of practice.
Okay,
So
tell us
we're
about that.
people of like minds gather and they network. They strike each other's minds and interrogate each other and sort of build on top of their understanding and realign each other. But it's all centered around doing the thing, not talking about the thing. I very much want people to be hands on.
Mm,
So that's going to
mhm.
be launching in January of 2024.
And what's the name of that?
It's called Swarm. And Swarm is an acronym for Sentient Wisdom and Artificial Reasoning Machines.
Beautiful.
So, sentient wisdom is the wisdom of organisms, of live beings
Mm-hmm.
that have senses
Mm-hmm.
and have collected experience and learn and evolve.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's people.
Mm-hmm.
And then artificial reasoning machines are the things that we fashion, the tools that we create,
Mm,
but it's the tools that are created by the sentient beings,
mm, mm.
you know?
That's great.
So artificial intelligence is only a static snapshot
Right.
of what is human or natural intelligence.
Right. Right. Right.
Um,
I could see that. And, I think about back when I had met you in a Spartan race, actually, and we've become friends since then. And ever since then, I just find you to be super motivated and very open to new ideas and always pushing the boundaries. And that's one of the reasons why I always look for you and I always be with you because that's what we do also. We're pushing people into that space of uncomfortableness so that they can start building on some of these things, you know. So this community thing is it really sounds like things that you've been working on since I've met you. Like, how long has it been since you've been coming up with these ideas and formulating to get to this point?
well, honestly, I've been working on these ideas in a very confused and misdirected way since 2014.
Okay.
2014, I wrote on a notebook, graduating high school, that I wanted to um, own a company and be friends and allies with people all over the world, and then build this interconnected network of experts and just develop cool things.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm really looking at my life now,
Mm-hmm.
nearly 10 years later, and it's
Right.
starting to materialize. I'm, I'm working with people or talking to people in Japan, India, Mexico, Germany, France,
Mm-hmm. Mm.
anywhere in the world.
Right.
I have a string, a thread
Mm-hmm.
of a connection with,
Right.
and I'm working with people either directly or indirectly that are doing some major projects for Fortune 500 companies and things like that.
Right.
Um,
Right.
I mean, I feel like I'm just in the beginning.
Mm.
I'm just like at the door of my journey, and it's going to get really exciting and really cool.
Right. Really fast too.
Yeah, really fast because I've been a little seed under the earth
Mm.
for about 9 years, trying to
Right.
figure out what way is up.
Mm-hmm.
But now that I know how to break through and I'm working my way up to the surface, I'm gonna quickly blossom into
Right.
a sunflower,
Right.
or
Something beautiful.
yeah, something
Um,
beautiful.
the world is our stage, and people need to realize that. Like the internet has just opened up a whole world of things. Before you had to have degrees and you had to have approvals of different hierarchies, but now, you just need a camera, a phone, and like there's so many things you can do, and it's a shame that people don't do it.
I graduated high school in 2014, and then after that, I was like, let me go get a degree, but I really don't want one because I think it's kind of bullshit. It is. See, it depends. Like, what is it that you want to do? If you want to save lives, if you want to construct like pacemakers,
Right.
fucking go to college.
Right.
And if you don't go to college,
Right.
go take classes in college, even if you don't get a degree, because that's a
Yeah, you might
serious
want to
thing.
know. Right.
But if you are creating, writing, making art, building a business, if you're doing a lot of other creative things that aren't like mission critical that don't kill people, by all means, like start practicing that even as a simulation. Even if you play doctor at home, if you play pretend, don't
Great.
play doctor at home. But
Right.
if you
Right.
want to,
Right. Great advice. Great advice.
yeah, you don't need anybody's permission. The only person that you need permission from is yourself.
Right. And
You
that's
gotta
the tough
allow
one.
yourself to be,
Yeah.
and that's the hardest one. Yeah.
That's the hardest one. Yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause you'll get all kinds of things from everywhere, but the one that you really need is the one on the inside.
I recently came across a person that very kind, very smart, very intelligent, driven, but they had these. They described themselves as going through these difficult times, and that they've been at the hands of misfortune as a victim through fate. And it's like, yeah, okay, like things can happen to us, and things
Things are gonna happen.
things are gonna happen whether you like it or not, and they're gonna set us back, and they're gonna injure us, and we're gonna be subject to things that aren't the things that we want. But the important thing is to hold the narrative in our heads that we are the hero, that we are the main character in our own storyline, working alongside other actors in their storylines, and
Yeah.
you're the one that chooses to make that a good thing, a hidden opportunity, or just a problem, and to be a victim. So
Right. Once I started to stop caring about what people thought, like things started really opening up for me too. We spend too much time concerned about those things. But tell us a little bit more about the AI and the podcast, about some of the people that you've already interviewed. What are some of the subjects that you've spoken about, and what has come out so far? I would like to know.
yeah, so the AI Digest is really an excuse for me to be able to talk to people that are really, really smart, and that they have spent like more than 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, even cultivating a career in interesting areas around artificial intelligence technologies. I don't, however, limit myself at this time to a particular vertical, a particular topic. I'm very deliberately kind of touching upon different areas. The first podcast was with a buddy, someone I met through working in events, that he's finishing his PhD in neurosymbolic artificial intelligence.
Okay, so that was the subject of the.
Yeah, so his journey, his academic journey, pursuing his PhD in neurosymbolic artificial intelligence,
Okay.
and
Okay.
it's pretty dense. So basically, to represent knowledge, we can paint it through symbols, and symbols can be letters, it could be words, an association between words. You can paint a picture as to how knowledge can be constructed. Um, the second interview was with a colleague that was referred to me by somebody else that I worked with in the event space. He's a consultant and and he used to be a professor in India. And we talked about 20 different things that have to do with farming and agriculture and supply chain, sustainable supply chain management.
Okay.
It was pretty cool. And then we talked about how to layer on top of that artificial intelligence. Like, how do you put machines that keep track with eyes, with ears, with noses, electronic, of course, that
Sensors.
sensors that
Mhm.
make sure that things are moving in the right direction, and if not, that they provide actionable feedback so that you can course correct the cultivation of those crops.
Right, right.
And you can pick it at the freshest moment, at the most nutrients dense moment,
Okay.
and you can avoid spoilage, and you can.
Yep. This is opening up all kinds of things that
It's a
are
lot.
wonderful. It's a lot. It's a lot. And you did mention about the other gentleman. I forgot his name. About the mushrooms that he was growing and how.
I spoke to a gentleman who has been in a very interesting pocket of knowledge. He went to work in China for a very famous company called Ogilvy,
Mm,
and Ogilvy is a advertising powerhouse. Um, and he helped them kind of pioneer some sustainable products. He went to get his master's in sustainable product development,
mhm.
and then he went to work for a very famous company in New Jersey called TerraCycle.
Okay.
TerraCycle is a company that has been around, I don't know, more than a decade, but they're like now they're global and they're based out of Newark, and they turn garbage into gold. So they turn glass into powder. They recycle things that would otherwise be unrecyclable.
Mm,
They had an initiative, just to give you an idea, where they take baby diapers,
mhm,
they recycle the diapers,
mm,
and then they analyze the poop content
mhm,
of the diaper for
mhm.
your baby and tell you some of the indicators of health that they have.
Oh wow,
So it's a very useful
that's super useful.
service.
Yeah. Did you know that diapers are the number one thing that is inside of garbage dumps? You know, where humans are throwing. That's the number one thing that is the most. Yeah. So that's great work they're doing. But they're doing this also through the power of mushrooms too. Are they not? Like
Well,
about
well, now he's working on building an ecosystem, so made up of startups, of venture capitalists, of you know, academic institutions and individual researchers to develop sustainable products around mushrooms, but more specifically fungi, because it's not just mushroom is only one cousin of the whole fungi family. There's a bunch of other
right.
subcategories of that.
Mhm.
But we spoke at great lengths of you know, sustainable protein, eating mushrooms,
Mhm. Um,
mushrooms as or fungi. Let me use the proper terminology. Fungi as a building material, as
mhm.
insulation,
Mm.
as
Right. You were telling me leather
alternative
and
textiles.
biodegrading.
Yeah,
Yeah.
in packing foams, you can
Mm.
make packing foams out of fungi, and then you don't have to use
Wow,
plastic.
it's amazing.
Yeah, and it's super sustainable. You
Right,
know,
right,
you can even use like farm waste,
right,
and turn farm
right.
waste, which would otherwise just go in a landfill or whatever, into a useful product that we use in our everyday, day to day.
Right, right.
Um, We went into pharmacology, how to use fungi to synthesize or extract compounds.
Mm-hmm.
There's nootropics, which is things that you take that enhance the performance of your brain and kind of
Mm.
help
I love
you
it.
regenerate neurons in your head.
Right,
Um,
right.
and the last one is like environmental remediation. So
Mm.
how do you fix the environment? Say there's like a nuclear bomb or
Or
there's
an oil spill.
oil spill, toxic spills, heavy metal
Right.
spills,
Yep.
things that are very difficult to clean up otherwise.
Mm-hmm.
Fungi have an amazing adaptable capacity to figure out how to eat things.
Mm.
They produce metabolites, things that they use to metabolize to eat material that they're on, and as they reproduce, they get better and better. They adapt to that
Mm-hmm.
material that they're eating,
Right,
so they can help break down those things that you're saying.
right.
You don't eat them
Amazing.
because they're like
Right.
sponges,
Right, right.
but they help to break it down, and then you can reprocess the mushrooms in a healthier way.
Amazing. And then this is all in connection again with AI and how it plays a role in human development.
Yeah, AI is just a tool.
Mm.
That's the funny thing.
It's like a hammer.
It's a hammer.
I mean,
yeah.
if we imagine the world without a hammer.
It's a very powerful tool
Mm-hmm.
that is leading us into the next industrial revolution of people.
Right.
First, we went through the physical industrial revolution,
Mm-hmm.
where we went from craftsmen individual people constructing rifles or clocks by hand, to being able to produce thousands and thousands of clocks a day in a factory. Um, and that led to the standardization of parts and
Right.
supply chain management and
Right.
sourcing and doing things in a massive scale.
Yeah, and over waste too. So hopefully AI can help us with that too. I feel so because they think a lot more logically than humans do. Humans, oftentimes our emotions are set into some of these things, especially when it comes to power and money. Like we feel that those things are just the end all of everything when they're not.
Yeah, we're emotional creatures that are
More
driven by
smart.
selfish desires, and that's okay.
Yeah,
It is what it is, you know.
it can be okay, but it can be overly too. Like, our ego gets in the way and we end up creating like nuclear bombs when nuclear is good for energy and things of that nature.
Well, I'm saying it's okay because it's not something that we hold influence over. We hold influence over our own lives, and we can affect our immediate environment, or maybe if we find leverage, we can affect many minds. But at the end of the day, you're not gonna cut the hole inside of the heart of people that people fill with greed and lust and sinful activity. I mean, people are always gonna do what they do, you know,
So then the
out of
next question,
out of fear or desire.
of course, yeah, because we're just like that.
We want to fill the hole.
Yeah, we do want to fill the hole. We do. We fill it with all kinds of garbage, like lots of products, lots of distraction.
Garbage and good things too.
Good
like
things
some
too,
people fill
yeah.
it with God, and
Yeah,
that's a
yeah,
beautiful
that's true.
thing.
Yeah, that's
you know,
beautiful.
some
Yeah.
people fill it with love and community.
Yeah,
being
yeah.
a parent, being a good worker,
Right.
being a researcher, whatever. Like whatever it is.
But let's talk about the extreme. My next question would be like, how does AI help us with some of those extreme behaviors that humans, right? Because as you can imagine, what you thought, as you can imagine, like there's lots of talk about AI coming in and destroying humans and all of that. So, yeah.
Like I said earlier, AI is a tool, and there are levels to artificial intelligence where it acts as a really cool advanced hammer that you can move, and it'll identify the material, it'll identify how forceful it needs to be to penetrate,
Right.
to drill the nail into the wall. Then there's like there's the next level of semi-autonomous, or like some sort of human augmentation, where there's a level of intelligence where it'll grant you knowledge and help direct you, help you with decision making, and will perform some task on your behalf. And then the final level is completely autonomous, and they have their own sort of free will, or we would like to believe within a parameter of free will.
Right.
And they have an input of senses, and they have an output of actions, and they work within a punishment and reward system, and they kind of reason within themselves according to how they're built. What yields what actions that they do yield a reward, and what actions they yield earn a punishment. Like people, we do good
Right.
things, we eat good
Right.
food,
Yeah.
we earn a reward long term. Right?
Right.
We eat bad things,
Right.
we maybe earn a reward in the short term.
Yeah,
You know?
that is true. That is true. Sometimes humans can get like ultimate power and do like some really horrendous things too. So that's always one of the concerns too. That hey, here we are using this powerful hammer, and some humans are walking around saying, "What if we gave that hammer like a little bit too much power?"
That's true.
Of course, naturally, right? There needs to be some sort of like milestones or like stops in between. Like when they get to a certain point, it would have to terminate or shut down without making these other types of decisions.
Well, there's so many different, like I said, there's three major levels to this stuff, and people are building things, in the first and the second level, and people are trying to get to the third. They've been trying to get to the third for a while, and
Interesting.
I don't think I'm qualified to say whether we are or whether we're not. there.
Mm.
I don't know enough about the third level. I don't go deep in that stuff. I look more at the foundational stuff that we can wield with our hands, and
Yes.
you can kind of equip somebody with some training and let them, if they have some sort of technical background, they can then go and build some of these machines. Like that's where I'm more focused on.
Mm.
Um,
Mm. Well,
but
that's great. That's great. That's that's really where I see where you're going with all of this podcast and this building of the community, because we need help. Humans do need help, right? The planet doesn't need help. The planet's going to be here for way longer than we are, but we do need help in these communities where people can be self-sustaining and stuff like that. And I feel that AI is a powerful tool for that.
so with democratizing knowledge and setting up opportunities for people to pick up this knowledge and practice these skills, I'm hoping that I can do a world of good. You know, I'm hoping that people can share knowledge, and um, we can suggest hardware kits that are like open source and very cheap,
Mm.
and people can construct the machines that they want at home,
Mm.
whether it's to build, their own mushroom farm, or build their own spinach production center, or
Mm.
hydroponic, aquaponic,
Right.
tomato farm.
Right. These are
Um,
big now too.
you can have things that remind you when to go to sleep, when to wake up, if you're
Right.
sleeping well.
Right.
What's your sugar level, things like that. There's all sorts of things
Mm.
that you can apply artificial intelligence, because artificial intelligence is only a snapshot of human intelligence. You
Mm.
need an architect.
Mm. Mm.
You need an architect to decide what are the parameters of the system that we're building,
Right. Right.
and what is this artificial intelligence, this agent, going to do.
Mm.
It's like you have to write a job description for what you want to happen, what you want that actor to do.
Right. Right. Of course.
It could be a man behind the machine, it could be a woman behind the machine. It
Right.
doesn't really matter.
Right. Right.
And somebody doing something on your behalf, or for you, or with you. You know.
And how about the podcast? Tell us, when is it coming out? When can we catch it? Where?
Yeah, so the podcast is already out, and every Friday we're releasing an episode. Right now, we have released 4 episodes. We've recorded 7, and in the backlog, we currently have 25 guests. I have people that work on human user-centered experience design, people that work on content, people that have been doing research in mushrooms, people that are working at the bleeding edge of commercializing these technologies, selling these technologies.
And how about where? Where can we? what's the
Spotify and YouTube. You can check those out on Spotify and YouTube.
Okay.
Everything's recorded in the video format, but if it's on a Spotify, you can just shut it off and listen to it as a regular podcast.
Right. Okay. And on the YouTube, what is the YouTube channel's name?
It's all known as the AI Digest.
The AI Digest. That's great. I'm looking forward to seeing some of those things, bro. Thank you so much. Oh, where can people find you?
Yeah, you can find me on LinkedIn, or you can contact Omar, and he'll find me. I think you had some questions on advice for newcomers and some quotes.
Yes, yes. And book too. So let's hit those 3 before we go. Go ahead.
Yeah, so 3 of my favorite quotes is work smart. That's my mom. She's always telling me work smart. Don't just work hard, but work smart.
Right.
And, I think it's important to gain leverage, because we're finite people, creatures with limited energy, limited attention, limited resources, money, time, whatever. So do your best to work smart.
Mm-hmm.
It's your job to figure out what the hell that means. Strike while the iron is hot, and make it hot by striking it. That was a good one that kind of got me off my ass, because it's you can wait for the opportunity to come to you before you act on the thing that you want to do, or you can go out and pound the pavement. You can go out and tell people you're doing something. You want to open up doors, and those doors will open, and you'll do the thing, and other doors will open, and you'll do the thing, and eventually you will become the thing that you want to be. But you have to hit the iron.
Right.
You can't wait for it to be hot. You have to hit the iron.
Right.
There's no.
You should work on yourself. Definitely. You should be so good,
Relentless.
so nice that people say, I see you. I want you. Let's do that thing. Yeah.
You need to see yourself before people can see you. So hit that iron. And the last one is eat glass and ask for more.
Eat glass and ask for more. I love that one.
Yeah.
I love that one.
Do the things that you don't want to do that are painful, that are going to make your gums bloody. It's the things that are going to help you grow. Don't take pain for the sake of taking pain, but take the pain for the things that you want and you're willing to stick out, because those are going to make you harder. Fire is a test of gold.
Yeah, that's
You know?
we push that at Omziel. You know, we're all about that with the breath work, with the ice plunge, with all of these events. We're always, and we do the men's retreats too. It's always pushing the men like to the edge, and then push them even more. Like, yes, do that hard thing and enjoy it. Like, be in it. Yes, it sucks, it hurts, and all that, but just start being comfortable in the uncomfortable, and then the doors fly open, man. It's incredible.
Your capacity for recovery and your capacity to tolerate the perception of pain is so much greater than what you can possibly imagine.
Yep.
When you get burned out and you hit a wall, that's when you're like, oh damn,
Right.
like
Yes.
that's my capacity.
That's
like,
my capacity. Yeah, let
next
me
time
rest, and I'll push a little harder next
Yeah.
time. Yeah. Let's not hurt ourselves like that.
Right.
And then books.
Yeah. So some of the books that have had a really big impact on me, How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie.
Of course. Yes.
Um,
Yes.
I've always been a friendly person, but that book kind of gave me a formulaic means of interacting with people to ensure that I'm adding value to their lives. Because if you live your life as a selfish person and just ask, and everything's centered around you, you're not going to have a good time. And people are not going to want to have for less of a better word, someone who's just siphoning resources from them. You know, you need to be a listening ear, you need to be a fly in the wall, you need to be a helping hand to many, and that'll come back to you.
Yep.
Um,
Yep. This guy was a master for sure. He was able to leave some of that information for others to see. It's one of the classic books. Yes. Yes, I love that. And what he achieved and all that. Some people look at people who achieve high things and we go, oh, that guy, he's just a thief. And see, that's wrong thinking. That's wrong. No, he's doing and working within the parameters of the law and what's available to him. And he's creating that, like that, and all those people that he helps along the way.
there's another book that kind of put me to sleep, and I've had to come back to it every now and again. I think it's the 12 Master Key to Riches
Okay. Okay.
by Napoleon Hill.
Right.
Well, actually, that one and the 10 principles of no the 7 principles of a highly effective person or something like that. The last one, and this one's more concentrated around business, but nonetheless, if you read it, you'll get insight into how to live a more focused life. It's Profit from the Core. Profit from the Core. It's a book that analyzes businesses over a period of time, and it talks about how to establish sustainable growth year over year when some companies grow and some companies die,
Right.
following different trends. That book talks about how you remain a profitable actor, whether it's an individual or an organization. And it was written by 2 consultants that worked for BCG, Bain Consulting Group, and that is one of the 4. That consulting company is one of the 4 largest in the world, and they just for projects like $1 million,
Right.
and it's for like 2-month, 3-month project. Like they charge their worth because they're really good.
Right. That's great. Well,
So
thank
you get a lot of juice out of that one.
Thank you so much. Thank you for the advice, and thank you for sitting with us and exploring some of these areas. I appreciate you, and I look forward to seeing what's going to happen in the coming year, man. I'm excited to continue working with you and growing. Thank you for all your help. And yeah,
Thank you, Omar, for the opportunity to co-create with you. One thing I really enjoy about engaging with you is that you're not a flake. There's a lot of flakes out there, and you got to try not to be a flake. I've been a flake myself.
appreciate you.
But,
Me too. But yes, I thank you for seeing me, bro.
Yeah,
Appreciate that.
you're worth your weight in gold, man.
Thank you, brother.
and-
Thank you. Thank you.
It's about action, you know. That's what converts our desires to tangible,
Right.
tangible things.
You can talk and say all that, bro, but if you don't get up, my dad used to say, like, praying happens on your knees, but getting things done happens on your feet. And he also said that if you're looking for a pair of hands to help you, they're located at the end of your wrist. You know,
A friend told me one that's kind of curt, but it's you can spin in one hand and hope with the other and see which one fills up faster.
well, there you have it, man. Let's leave it at that. Thank you for tuning in, and we look forward to seeing you guys soon. Okay, peace.
Have a good one.